Hurricane Ian is still spinning around in the Atlantic, but is making its way closer and closer to the South Carolina coastline. In the latest update from the National Hurricane Center at 8 a.m., it was just 100 miles southeast of Charleston. Winds in the center of the storm still sitting at 85 miles per hour, and towards the end of this loop, you can see what's shaping up to be a version of a northern eye wall is starting to form. That's going to be very nasty when it makes its way closer to landfall here around Charleston. When it comes to the actual forecast of where this storm is likely going to go, it's going to maintain its strength, making landfall somewhere closer to Charleston, but in between there and Myrtle Beach. The forecast eventually takes its way closer to the east of the Midlands. Not many of the Midlands included in the actual forecast cone, but remember, the impacts stretch well beyond where the center of the storm goes. Likely we'll see those stretching all the way throughout the Midlands into the western edge of the state. Eventually, Ian becomes a tropical storm, tropical depression as it moves farther up towards the north. What we're doing for today is issuing a weather warn day. This is when we're anticipating our heaviest impacts coming through here from this storm. That's from this morning all the way to this evening. We're looking at two big risk factors coming along with Ian. That would be flooding rain, could see up to 6 inches of rain, and gusty winds. Winds could get as high as 50 miles an hour, even closer to 60 miles as the center of the storm eventually does pass by. With a hurricane and a tropical storm, a tornado is always possible, but that risk has been shifting farther off towards the east. Here in the Midlands, we're looking cloudy, we're looking dark and gloomy. Our camera has had a lot of trouble here with this morning. We're already looking at powerful winds settling in. That rain has been pushing and slowly creeping over towards the west here all morning long. Areas from Kershaw County down to Orangeburg have been dealing with rain since last night, but you can see in these yellows and these oranges, a lot of heavy rain has been pushing out of the east, closer to the center of the storm, also moving over towards the west. It's this kind of pattern that's going to last throughout the rest of today. The center of the storm will pass right to the east of the Midlands, so our heavier rain bands will be set over towards Sumter and Manning, but also stretching all the way over towards Saluda and Aiken. As we get closer to the afternoon and evening, that's when our most intense rain will actually move through. You can see the core of the storm moving up towards the north over towards Bishopville. As we head into tonight, all that rain eventually follows behind the storm, and the dry air that's been causing a lot of problems for Ian is going to sweep into our forecast, push a lot of that rain out of the way. We're only left with a couple of scattered showers, but rain totals will have already stacked up. Some of us getting as high as 3 inches here in just today and into tomorrow. The rest of us tapering into 2, eventually into 1 inch as you get over towards the west. It's those areas closer to the storm that have the greatest potential of seeing flash floods. That's why we have that moderate risk of excessive rainfall, but everywhere has the potential of seeing a flash flood. We have that flood watch issued for this morning all the way into tomorrow morning for those eastern counties here as well. Wind gusts are also our big major concern. We're at 30 to 40 miles per hour here throughout most of us, but as you get closer to when that storm does pass by, you could get 50 to 60 miles an hour here for your wind gusts closer to this afternoon. But just like what we saw with our rainfall, those wind gusts will taper off as we get later on into tonight. It's the wind and the rain that have come together to give us that tropical storm warning here until further notice for all of the Midlands. 10-day forecast wise, today is the day that we need to be weather aware. We're looking at a lot of rain, powerful winds, and it's going to be cold here as well. So as we head into this weekend, once Ian finally passes out of the way and that dry air takes its place, a nice quick rebound. Temperatures climb more than 10 degrees. Plenty of sunshine and dry weather comes back, but we're still looking at some isolated showers all the way until the start of next week. But eventually we do get a nice stretch of sunshine.